All right, so let's get right into it. The market is absolutely buzzing right now over a new AI tool from ByteDance, and it's basically rewriting the entire playbook for the short drama industry. Today, we're going to break down what's really happening with AI video generation and why this feels like such a massive turning point. And really, this is the whole story in a nutshell. We're not just talking about another cool app here. What we're witnessing is a fundamental economic shift, a true ignition point where the cost of creating video content has just fallen off a cliff. You've probably seen the headlines, right? Stocks for companies like Jiqing and COL Digital Publishing have been soaring. But today, we're going to look behind that market frenzy. We're going to unpack what this actually means for creators, for platforms, and really for the entire media supply chain. Let's start with the numbers, because honestly, they are staggering. 3 yuan. That's it. That's the new ballpark cost to pump out a 15-second video that's actually good enough to be used commercially. We're not talking about a demo here. We're talking about ready-to-go content. And it's not just for short clips. The scale of this shift is just as dramatic. Think about a 90-minute film, something that used to cost you tens of thousands of yuan to produce. Well, that price has now crashed down to around 2,000 yuan. That's a massive, massive drop. So what happens when costs plummet like that? Well, the production capacity for the entire short drama industry is now projected to jump by 5 to 10 times. This isn't just about being a little faster, it's a complete change in the sheer volume of content that can now be created. So, what's the engine behind this huge disruption? It's a tool called Seedance 2.0. It was just released by ByteDance's internal seed team, and let me tell you, it is not just a small step forward. Seedance 2.0 is a genuine quantum leap. You can feed it text or an image, and in about a minute, it spits out a multi-shot movie-quality video. It handles the audio, the camera moves, even the narrative structure, all automatically. And that last point, a usability rate over 90%, that's the real kicker. It means the tool actually works as advertised, making it ready for production, not just for experiments. And when you lay it all out like this, it really hits you. We've gone from 5-figure costs down to just a couple thousand yuan. We've gone from these long manual production cycles to a 5 to 10x boost in capacity, with something like 80% of the workflow just automated. This is literally what a tipping point looks like. So here's the crucial thing to understand. A cost disruption this big doesn't just happen in a bubble. It creates a chain reaction. It sends shockwaves up and down the entire media supply chain. So let's follow those ripples. You can kind of think of the industry in 3 main layers. Upstream is the foundation, all the computing power and data. The middle, or midstream, is where you find the tools and services connecting the tech to the creators. And then downstream is the final content, the platforms and the marketing. All 3 are getting totally reshaped. Okay, so starting at the top, upstream. To create this much video, you need a massive amount of horsepower. So demand for GPUs and cloud computing is about to explode. Plus, the AI models need tons of high-quality video data to get even better. Then, in the midstream, a whole new ecosystem of specialized tools is popping up to manage this new workflow. We're talking tools for scripting, for digital assets, for everything. And then we get to the downstream, which is, where most of us will actually see the effects. Companies that are sitting on huge libraries of intellectual property, stories, characters, you name it, can now churn out short dramas at a scale that was unimaginable before. And for marketing, the idea of making hundreds of 15-second video ads for 3 yuan each completely changes the game for testing and social media campaigns. Now, of course, a disruption this huge creates some very clear winners, but it also brings a whole new set of risks. So let's break down who's in the best position to win and where we all need to be a little bit careful. So the biggest winners here are the ones who can combine 3 key ingredients: intellectual property, user traffic, and this new, super low-cost way to produce content. That means companies with giant IP libraries, like COL Digital Publishing and Huasafe Film and TV, are sitting pretty. Same goes for the platforms that can distribute and monetize all this new stuff. And of course, the guys providing all that computing power upstream are going to see demand skyrocket. But, and this is a big but, we have to be really cautious. First, there's the risk of just pure hype, where some stocks are jumping based on the idea alone without any real business to back it up. Second, the copyright issue around training data is a huge, messy, unresolved problem for the entire industry. And finally, you've got major ethical and legal risks around deepfakes and what's known as portrait rights, your right to control your own image. These risks are so real that Cdance 2.0 actually had to suspend the feature that let you use real people's photos.
Look, this whole story is moving at lightning speed. So, what are the key signals we should all be keeping an eye on to see where this is all headed?
Here's a quick checklist for you. Keep an eye on the actual user data. Are people really watching these AI dramas? Are they willing to pay? Watch for new investments flowing into those midstream companies. That's a great sign the ecosystem is getting stronger. Definitely pay close attention to any new rules around copyright and AI likenesses. And finally, watch the competition. How will Cdance 2.0 stack up against global players like OpenAI Sora and Runway? And that brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from all of this. The tipping point we're seeing right now is all about cost and capacity. It doesn't automatically guarantee profit, but, and this is the key, it's the essential first step. You can't even dream of mass commercialization until you solve the production problem, and it looks like that problem has just been solved.
So, as this wave of new content starts to hit our screens, it all boils down to one simple question for you, for all of us. Now that the production barrier is basically gone, the final test is whether we actually want to watch it. The tech is here, the cost is practically zero. The only question left is, are you in?